Hello and welcome. It is day 4 of the 5-day Paraliminal Challenge. We're live on the MINDTRX app as well as online. I'm Pete Bissonette. And our co-host today is Jack Canfield. He's renowned co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. He's celebrated as the star of The Secret, author of The Success Principles, an amazing book, and co-creator of the Living the Law of Attraction Paraliminal. So Jack is here to help you break through to the success that you want to have using the paraliminals. Hi, Jack. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure, Pete. I'm very excited to be here. As you know, I love helping people make progress on achieving their goals. As you know, my life purpose statement is to inspire and empower people to live their highest vision in a context of love and joy. And secondly, I love the paraliminal technology and how powerful it is, and they are in assisting people and making changes. So, and then third, you're one of my favorite people on the planet. So I'm really glad to spend time with you and work together today.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. We belong to a mutual admiration society.
Yes, we have.
Yes. Okay, so Jack, you often called America's success coach, and rightly so, you've earned it. So what fundamental belief or practice do you think folks who are with us today often overlook? And what is it that can hold to the key to everlasting success?
Well, one of the things, I talk about in one of the paraliminals I did was on the law of attraction. And the thing that most people don't do well is work on raising their vibration. They do a lot of thinking about intention, goal setting, often saying affirmations. But what I've been learning more and more and more is that you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. And what I mean by that is the vibration, which is what's a vibration? Everything in the universe is vibrating. It's all energy. But when we talk about you being a high vibration, we're really talking about your emotional state. Are you in a state of high vibration, which would be love, appreciation, gratitude, enthusiasm, inner peace, things like that? Or are you in a lower vibration, which would be things like anger, resentment, fear, hopelessness, judgment, those kind of things? And so what happens is that we need to be always thinking about how do we raise our vibration. And you may remember in the movie The Secret, in the book The Secret as well, talk about high intention and then low attachment to how. So we say ask, believe it's possible, don't get attached to the how, release it to the universe, and then open yourself to receive. Receiving is being in a state of high vibration. One of the metaphors that's often used is how big is your mailbox? If I'm sending you a big box, but your mailbox is small, it won't fit in. So you got this conveyor belt of good things that you want that are lined up to come to you in life, but you're not there receiving it. Like, let's say you want to attract a man in your life or a partner, whatever sex. And what happens is that you are still angry at your ex-husband, your ex-boyfriend, your ex-girlfriend, whatever. So when someone comes around you, that vibration of anger toward people in relationship is like it's like a wall around you. It's a vibrational guard all shield that's saying, no, 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 I'm not safe to come into because I'm angry. So you have to release that anger and there are a number of ways to do that, through tapping, through listening to Byron and Katie and doing her work and listening to paraliminals. There's a number of ways you can do that. But it's really important to get our vibration back into a high state. Now think about this. If I was in a relationship that was, difficult, could have been my parents being abusive to me, could have been someone in high school teasing me, could have been a boss putting me down. What happens, I need to go and release that. Now I can release it from the place of forgiveness. There's a lot of forgiveness exercises. Or I can also realize that everything that happened to me was actually for my highest good. That when my parents did what they did to me, it forced me to develop resilience, perseverance, become hyper vigilant, which was my case. But I made a really good point guard in basketball because I was hyper vigilant. I could see everything going on around me. Because when I was a kid, I had to be sensitive to everything my dad was doing. Was he drinking? Was he angry? Did he come home from work upset? Because that meant I might get beaten. So I had to be very careful about that. So it was a gift to me. I have a lot of compassion for people. I do a lot of work with people who had traumatic childhoods and so forth. So there's always a gift. As Tony Robbins likes to say, the universe is always happening for you, not against you or to you. So whenever you're working with your affirmations, your visualization, your vision board, you're doing things that you think are going to get you where you want to go. Are you in a state of happiness, gratitude, joy, whatever? You're probably familiar with this, but most people aren't. The HeartMath Institute did a research study, which I think was fascinating. They took DNA. DNA, I didn't even know you could isolate DNA on a glass rod. They do that through chemical stuff. And what happens is they get these strands of DNA, and they wanted to intend that the DNA, which is a helical structure, that they could unwind it. And so they had this whole group of people sitting there intending and visualizing the DNA unwinding. Nothing happened. Then they had that same group just send love and gratitude and appreciation to the DNA. Nothing happened. Then they had them be in a state of gratitude and appreciation and send the intention to the DNA, and the DNA unwrapped. So what we learned from that is that physical matter, especially human matter, other people, but really everything it's vibrating, including your computers vibrating. What happens is if we're in that state of joy, appreciation, gratitude, and we're sending our intention to the world for income, relationship, more clients for our coaching program, vacation, house, dream house, whatever. What happens is it's much more powerful when we do that. The other thing that I've learned about intention from John Hagelin, who was a physics PhD in quantum physics, Harvard PhD, said the power of an intention is the square of the number of people holding the same intention at the same time. So literally, if you and I are holding that same intention, 2 squared is 4. If 5 of us are holding that intention, the power of the intention is 25. If 100 of us are holding it, it's 10,000. So the more people you can enroll in your goal to achieve whatever it is you want, your family, your staff, your friends, community, online, whatever, then the more power that has, the more likely it's going to come into place. So again, when you're doing your affirmations and visualization, feel the feelings of gratitude before you go in. Do a gratitude exercise. And what we've been learning also is that a lot of people, they're very rote when they do their gratitude. They go like, okay, I love my dog, I love my house, I love my wife, I love, the whatever. And it's the same thing every day. And they do it like writing a grocery list. There's no affect to it, no feeling. So when you do it, what they're saying now, and I agree with them, is think of 3 new things every day to be grateful for. It forces you to start appreciating more stuff. The grass is growing. The irrigation system is working. The toilet flushed, whatever. There's all these things we take for granted. And so when you focus on more of that, you get more things. And one last thing with this. Limiting beliefs. We all have limiting unconscious beliefs that we don't even know we have. They form usually between the age of 3 and 7 years old. So it's really important. If you're doing everything what you think is right, you're still not getting the results, you have pain, discomfort, inflammation, stiffness, immobility, things like that in your body, you're addicted, you know there's things you should do, but you're not doing them, you're not making that phone call, you're not changing your diet, you're not going to the gym. You have limiting beliefs that are below your level of consciousness that we have to use some forms, and there's all kinds of ways to do that, to bring them to the surface and then release them. Those are the things I would say that are really critical that most people are not doing.
Brilliant, Jack. Brilliant. I mean, you hit it right on. And as far as the belief goes, it's the belief paraliminal that can really be helpful with that. Because the first session of the belief paraliminal is about identifying beliefs that are not serving you. And then the second session is to identify a belief that you want to bring on. And as you bring it on, guess what? It's so easy to release that other one that isn't serving you.
Right.
So this is the week of the Paraliminal Challenge, and I've read hundreds of comments, and we know that nearly everyone is clear on what their intentions are, what their goals are, what they want to achieve this week. And it's really been very cool, very inspiring to hear the successes and progresses that folks have made so far. Now, we're coming into the end of the week, so you want to keep doing your paraliminals and keep listening. And you also want to be thinking about, if you don't have the Ultimate You library, now's the time to be getting it, because at the foundation of the Paraliminal Challenge are all of the paraliminals. And when you have the paraliminals, you always have the best tool at your fingertip for any situation that comes up, whether it's an obstacle or an opportunity, or even given what's going on in the world today, when you find yourself affected to what you're hearing or what other people are saying, pull out a paraliminal. That will just help dissipate it for you. And as you know, you can get Paraliminals on CDs or on MP3s, or you can get them in the MINDTRX app. Just follow the upgrade link that's in your reminder email or on this webpage if you're walking online today. And they're so easy, Jack, as you know, you just press play, close your eyes, and allow your mind to learn new ways for responding to what's going on in the world. It is just so neat. And there's a lot of support information that we have too if you want to go deeper with it. But the truth is, we created the Paraliminal, so all you have to do is press play and allow it to happen in 20 minutes. That's what it is. So Jack, one of the questions that I'd like to ask you is, one of the beauties of the Paraliminal Challenge is that folks start listening to the Paraliminals or they wrap them up for the week. And what some people are inclined to do is when the challenge ends, just to stop and get on with their lives. Why is a consistent practice so important with something like the Paraliminals?
Well, it's like saying we're going to have a challenge where we're going to eat food for a week and then we're going to stop.
Yeah.
That would not make sense. And so, one of the things that most people never learn in life is we have a body, which we feed, and we need to also feed our mind and our emotions, if you will. And so, what happens is most of us are not real good at that. And what's really happening for most people is their mind is getting fed unconsciously by the TV they watch, the news programs, the newspapers they read, what they hear in their car when they're driving to work often, which is sometimes music, but sometimes it's news and things like that. So what you want to do is make sure, just like eating organic food versus regular food, that whatever you're taking in is positive, is uplifting, is transformative for you. And so I think you have to practice to counter all this negative limiting beliefs that we've all been programmed. We've had our parents, our teachers, our ethnic groups, our national groups, our religious cultures that we all grew up in. The media is constantly programming us. So we need to be listening continually over and over and over and over so that we're constantly bringing our, how would I say, raising our set point, if you will, for our vibration constantly. And there's so many paraliminals on, they cover almost every possible thing you could ever think of in your life. I know I think I have almost all of them, not all of them perhaps, because you keep making new ones, but I got a complete set a long time ago. And I was going through them the other night and I was like, thinking about what we're going to do today. And I was just flabbergasted to remember all the things that are addressed by the different paraliminals. It's kind of like if you wanted to like go through a car wash, if you will, for your brain, it was like just do all the paraliminals over time. And one of the best ways to do that is to create a consistent time, just like, you're going to take a bath every morning or a shower before you go to work. You're going to work out maybe 3 times a week in the gym, to have a consistent time. And I recommend every day where you do it first thing in the morning when you wake up, kind of sets the tone for the day. You can do it right before you go to bed at night. We know that whatever you listen to the last 45 minutes before you go to sleep, your subconscious mind plays more times than what you did the rest of the day, which is why I recommend not watching the 11 o'clock news at night.
Yeah.
Not a good habit for you. But listening to paraliminals would be great. So consistency over time, it's like building muscles. You have to do it consistently. And also, if you stop for a while, your muscles start to atrophy again. Anyone as old has realized that at some point you took a couple of weeks off or a month off or a summer off and you weren't doing it. And all of a sudden, so you got to keep toned, if you will. And so that consistency, scheduled, a lot of times people don't do it because it's not on their schedule. Like I actually schedule, if you were to look at my schedule on my Google Calendar, it says meditation, exercise. It could say now, I'm going to actually put in there paraliminals because it's only 20 minutes of your time. And what happens is it's so rewarding. So I just really encourage you to do that because you're being bombarded constantly by the opposite of what the paraliminals do. And, and also I would say this, when you ever experience what we might call something that triggers you, you have a rejection experience, a financial setback, you're feeling low, your self-esteem is low. Someone wrote to us today, I read one of the letters, emails, whatever, it said that I was feeling low, started doing the self-esteem thing, and I feel much better now. If you're simply wanting to perform better in sports, at work, be a more effective parent, whatever, you're just noticing that there's a paraliminal for that. So basically go ahead and then when you're feeling triggered, listen to that, get back into that high vibration state. So disciplined and also when's needed. It's like I have Band-Aids. I don't use them every day, but they're in that drawer when I need them. So you've got mental Band-Aids through the paraliminals.
Exactly. So one thing that Chinny Lin says, Jack, creator of Spring Force Qigong, and you're good friends with Chinny,
Yeah.
he says there's an advantage to doing Qigong at the same time every day. There's an
Yes.
advantage of doing the paraliminals at the same time or your morning exercise routine because the energy opens up and it starts preparing for what it knows is happening. So by doing it every single day at the same time, then what is happening is that you're getting not just the benefit of the paraliminal or the meditation or whatever you're doing, but you're getting the compounded benefit of the energy opening up to support you, the universe supporting you. That I think is really cool.
I think too, there's a physiological reality that when they do studies of road rage, they notice that people who have road rage are driving home, let's say at 5:30, and every day they're getting all mad at people and flipping them off and all that stuff. They literally, their body gets used to the hormonal, biochemical wash that goes through their brain and their body at that time of day.
Mhm.
And what happens if there's no one to get mad at? Their body's like, well, where is that? I need that. I'm used to having that experience. So it would make sense that when you're doing qigong, paraliminals, meditation, that the same thing would happen. So your body's getting used to building up that field of positivity and energy. Whether it's qigong, I teach something called the rule of the not the rule of five. That's another thing. I teach something called the hour of power, which is in the morning. Take 60 minutes and do. You can do several different things. One of them is meditate. It could be paraliminals. It could be meditation plus paraliminals. It could be read something uplifting. The paraliminals could replace that. And then also 20 or 30 minutes of exercise, qigong, Pilates, walking, whatever it might be for you, so that you're mentally, emotionally, and physically charged for the day. And you could build your paraliminals right into that hour of power.
Exactly. So, Jack, we have a lot of stories that we can be reading of what people have sent in to them. Are you ready to read some?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the first one that I have for you, Jack, is not one that came in overnight, but it's one that came in before the challenge started, and it's such a cool story. I thought, hey, let's start off today's with that one. So it's all yours.
Okay. So Jason wrote, my life was a complete disaster. I had a 20 plus year substance abuse problem. 17 of those were with opiates. My lifestyle reflected this: periods of homelessness, jail, etc. I was at the end of my rope. I couldn't live with myself anymore. Then I came across learning strategies by accident and gave paraliminals and photo reading a shot. I didn't expect much from life anymore, so I didn't expect much from the products. However, within 2 weeks of listening and learning quite spontaneously and a bit startling, my heart blew open wide. Wow. I wasn't a spiritual, I wasn't spiritual prior to this, but I knew in that moment without doubt I was a spiritual being. It's been nonstop unfolding ever since. I've been clean for 8 years now. Every aspect of my life has transformed. Learning strategies help save my life, literally. To everyone that makes learning strategies possible, from window washers that work there to the CEO, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Isn't that a great story, Jack?
Yeah. And how did he know you have so many windows in your office? Because I know it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll read a couple. Shirley wrote, my goal for this week was to develop better eating and sleeping habits. Then I realized today I was making the challenge into a job, so I changed it up and listened to the paraliminal of the day. And in the few days left, I wonder if you could suggest a couple of paraliminals that are also fun and uplifting. I'm disabled and sometimes I really need an emotional pick-me-up to help bring in added joy to my routine. So there's a lot of them that are just so fun to listen to, and you're not necessarily having to accomplish something like, some of the things that we'll use paraliminals for. And they are the deep relaxation, euphoria, finding treasure, fresh start, gratitude, joy, memory supercharger, personal genius, self-esteem supercharger, self-love, you deserve it. Those are all like candy paraliminals, the softer side of the paraliminals, and they're perfect for those times you want to do something, but you don't really want to work on something really specific. So try those. And then Melville wrote, I have this feeling that I can't shake, that things will definitely work out. My main goal was to gain clarity on my next steps going forward, as it's been a couple of years of my life of nothing working out. I listened to the intuition amplifier because I want to learn to trust my gut more. Fantastic.
Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Yash wrote, my main goal is to get that mind shift effortlessly. I'm listening to the Paraliminal of the day. I will also listen to Talking to Win.
Very good. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Colette wrote, my goal for listening this week is to increase my vibration. We were just talking about that as I play my way to abundant friendships while growing my business. I listened to Finding Treasure and will listen to Happy for No Reason today. Marcy Shimos, really good.
Mhm.
Elizabeth writes, I just love everything that I've listened so far from the Paraliminal Challenge. I listen to the daily suggestions and it makes me feel very relaxed and hopeful for the future. My ultimate goal is to improve my financial situation. I'm looking forward to getting rid of my limiting beliefs regarding setting up another source of income. Unfortunately, I feel that I'm quite far away from my goal, but maybe that'll change. Let me offer a little advice to you. I'll go back, get your name here, Elizabeth. So think about this. I want you to be a little bit more specific. You said improve my financial situation. Think about what would your financial situation look like when it's improved. Often in my seminars, I'll ask how many people would like more money. And I'll put my hand up and everyone raises their hand. I go over and I give someone $1. I say, you now have more money. Did that do it for you? And they go, no. And I say, the reason is you weren't specific. Do you want 1,000 more, 100,000? What's your goal? So very, very specific. How much would be enough for you to say it's improved? How much and by when? And then create an affirmation that's the opposite of this thing that my life's not working. I don't have the money I want. So it might be, I'm so happy and grateful that I now have all the money I want and need to do all the things I want to do. And then visualize what that would look like if you were doing it. And you mentioned there's a fear that comes up about starting a new business in order to make that money. Perhaps, could be passive income or whatever. Whatever that fear is, there's paraliminals that will address that. Use those as well, because the fear is just you visualizing what you don't want. As one of my friends says, it's negative goal setting. There's a way to start visualizing what you do want, get rid of the fear, and get to where you want to go. So those are some suggestions of things that might help.
And then Elizabeth, for goal setting, if you go into the app and on the bottom of the screen, you'll see something called calendar. Tap into the calendar and there's a goal setting process in there that Paul Shealy will guide you through. It fits exactly with what Jack was just saying.
Great.
So I'll read a few. Vicky wrote, my main goal for the week is to focus and be rested. I've been listening to Deep Relaxation and then the 10-minute supercharger. What a combo. It's awesome. Cynthia wrote, I struggle with sleep issues, have for many years. I listened to Deep Relaxation one night and it felt great. Tonight I'm going to use Sleep Deeply. I've read a lot of good comments about that one. Natalie, I had trouble falling asleep, so I put on the Success Sleep Tracks. And then I woke up really early. I put on the Health Sleep Tracks. I was able to fall back asleep easily and was so happy to know that the words kept my brain focused so that it didn't default to the fears. I love the sleep tracks. And that fits exactly with what you were just saying, Jack, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sleep tracks, they're available on the CDs or in the library, but it's so easy to use the sleep tracks when you're in the app, because that's the part of the paraliminal where the multiple voices speak into different parts of your brain. And if you just kind of put it on as you fall asleep, it's putting positive messages in. Or if you wake up in the middle of the night, you can just put them on. I also like to use the sleep track when I'm doing chores around the house, like gardening or vacuuming or something like that. You can use it for so many different things.
You've never fallen asleep gardening?
No, I've never fallen asleep gardening. But sometimes it just gets so relaxing that maybe, I'm one step away.
Anyway, just kidding. So Beth writes, intuitively, I'm adding law of attraction to my daily mix of happy for no reason and joy today. We'll keep you posted. Vicente wrote, I love listening to the Talking to Win Paraliminal almost every day before going into a social situation. I work in a high sales volume environment, and I notice on the days I listen compared to the days that I don't, my verbal fluency and delivery are sharper and smoother. I even surprise myself with what comes out of my mouth. I love that. That's way
Yeah.
cool. Gene writes, I binged on Self-Esteem Supercharger and Self-Love and feel such a deep sense of compassion toward myself. It's really profound. Thank you. And then Jerry wrote, hey, Jack, I loved you in The Secret. And when the Living Law of Attraction first came out, I loved it more. It's still my favorite. I use it regularly because it helps keep me growing and prospering. Well, first of all, thank you. I'm glad you found it valuable. I was telling Pete, I listened to it again last night just to refresh myself with it. And I was surprised by how relaxed and energized I felt afterwards. It was amazing. And something that I'm sure you've been told all this week, but Pete and I talked about this before we came on air, that I was trying to listen to Paul's voice or my voice, and it was challenging. And then finally, I just said, "The heck with it." I didn't try to listen to either one, and that's when I relaxed. And when it was over, I was just like so high. It was so amazing. So again, you don't have to try to listen to anything. It just goes into your subconscious mind without you arguing with it, without you defending against it. It's so powerful. So I encourage you to do it that way.
Yeah. Mary from Texas wrote, I listened to 3 Paraliminals yesterday, and I had an experience with the new history generator that I listened to at bedtime. I became aware immediately, and I could not sleep. My body hurt. I tossed and turned all night. Have you ever heard of this before? I meditated and finally let it go. So yeah, every once in a while a paraliminal will stir something up, and then when it does, if it's in the middle of the paraliminal, you can turn it off and just let it flow out. You can do a meditation, you can do a release or something. And usually the next time you come back to the paraliminal, everything will be okay. It doesn't happen very much, but when it does, and if you're going to be working on something really challenging that might require a new history, the new history generator, perhaps not doing it before bed might be a better choice, like maybe first thing in the morning or any other time during the day. And then she went on to say, so I continued on today, and so far I've listened to Instantaneous Personal Magnetism and The Soul of Money. I'm an empath and visualizer, and I see many things. I see many things when I listen to Paraliminals. Tonight when I go to bed, I'm going to listen to You Deserve It, Lisa Nichols, Jack. I have been looking forward for something like this, and I am grateful. I'm so grateful I found this program.
That's great. That's really great. You know, I like to say when you're doing this kind of work, whatever's coming up is coming out. So it's being stirred up so it could be released. So that's not a bad thing. Could be uncomfortable, but just know that it's all working for you. Judy wrote, seeing the unseen is amazing. I listened on Monday and all week I've been noticing things for work, including catching inconsistencies in a proposal and putting together a marketing report so fast. Green wrote, I didn't expect this, but listening to Soul of Money had a profound impact on what I feel about money. I wonder how this will play out in my life. John wrote, I put off listening to self-discipline because it sounds like work. I love that. After all, who wants to discipline? Well, I do. And it seems like I have been getting more done this week.
Jack, how do you make having discipline not to be work, besides listening to the Paraliminal? Are there any other tips?
I think, think of discipline as actually making life easier. You just mentioned earlier about doing your Qigong or your Paraliminals at the same time. So it becomes a discipline, and therefore it's not something you have to fight with every day. I always say if you have a discipline, let's say of doing yoga in the morning or Tai Chi or Qigong or whatever, what happens is that fight is over. I just get up and I do it. If I have to decide every day if I'm going to do it or not, then I have this constant argument all the time. And so discipline is being 100% committed to something. If you have this sense you find discipline difficult, I think, there are paraliminals that address that, because anytime you're wanting to do something you need to do and you're not doing it, there's a limiting belief that's getting in the way, some fear. A lot of times people feel like they're going to be enslaved. There's a sense of like, oh my God, if I have a discipline, then I'm not really free. You know, uh, we look at in religion, the disciples and discipline are the same thing. And a lot of people that are Christian wish they could have been one of Christ's disciples, but it was a discipline of being with him and following the golden rule and all that stuff. So whatever it is, whether it's meditation, whether it's eating better, whatever, disciplines actually serve you, and you're being responsible to yourself. I always say teach 100% responsibility. Nobody wants more responsibility. Give me more. It's kind of like Sisyphus pushing the rock up the mountain. But that discipline and responsibility actually frees you. Otherwise, you're always blaming other people for what happens to you. you're not getting the results you want because you're not doing it consistently. So, is there a paraliminal that addresses that, Pete? I'm just curious.
Yes, self-discipline.
Self-discipline.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you
Yes,
go.
it's perfect for him. Yeah. So Chris from Hong Kong wrote, still using the anxiety and sleep paraliminals and finding some reduction in stress and worry and fewer nightmares during sleep. That's
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
MJ wrote, I'm a devoted user of Centerpoint's Holosync technology, and I'm curious about the paraliminals, and I'm fascinated at what I'm finding out so far. With limited time, I've chose Intuition Amplifier, and we'll do more of them in the next couple of days. I was thrown off a little bit by the confusing talking in each ear, but will continue to pursue the experiment. I may do MINDTRX to continue my exploration. Thank you for this opportunity to check it out. And again, we've talked about that a couple times through the week about the multiple voices. You don't have to follow along with them. Just kind of let them float by and just go with the flow and the rhythm of the voices. And that's when the magic can happen with the paraliminals. So I know sometimes you're kind of tempted to do it. And if you find yourself listening to one ear or another ear, that's fine. Just keep listening and until you can go down the middle and float away again. So
Yeah. I like that idea of allowing it to flow because so many of us are so focused and intentional and we're efforting, and the one I did on law of attraction is about effortless success.
yeah.
And I love that someone pointed out to me years ago, the old thing we used to sing as kids, row, row, row your boat, meaning you got to do something gently, so don't overdo it. Down the stream, meaning don't fight the current, let it flow. Merrily, 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 joy, 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 joy. Life is but a dream. It's all an illusion anyway, we're told, right? So nursery rhymes were telling us that. We weren't listening. And I think if you allow the voices to just flow through you, if you find yourself struggling to try to hear everything, you're probably struggling on a lot of things in your life. So just the practice of allowing and releasing and letting go, doing the paraliminals, that will flow over into the rest of your life as well. So good advice there. So Marion wrote, I first heard about paraliminals about 15 years ago when my best friend used smoke-free to permanently give up cigarettes. But I never listened to one, never had an interest. But this week, all of that has changed. I've become a fan. Thanks for this opportunity. Kim
Love
wrote,
that one.
yeah, I'm definitely feeling and sleeping much better. I have more energy and more positive outlook. Linda wrote, this week, I've never been happier. Think about this. I've never been happier. It's so wonderful. The paraliminals have swept away the negatives. I feel better. I sleep better. Thank you for opening my eyes to these.
I love these stories. I could sit and read them all day.
Yeah, me too.
And during the challenges, that's all I do is read the stories. So how about you? What is it that you want to let go of? What is it you want to accomplish? What has come up now in listening to what Jack has been saying? So just scan through the list of the paraliminals and play the ones that interest you. And use your intuition too. You don't have to left brain it to choose which one's going to be perfect because they all will help you to your goal. There's a lot of ways to get to Chicago, as I say oftentimes. So Jack, we have a winner of the $100 gift certificate. Would you like to announce the winner?
I will. I'm going to say one thing first.
Yep.
You talked, these things take 20 minutes to listen to. The average American watches 6 hours of TV or scrolls through their, phone on all the Twitter feeds and all that stuff. 6 hours. So don't tell yourself you can't find 20 minutes and spend it better. My mentor, Debbie Clement Stone, told me to cut out 1 hour of television a day. He said it'll change your life. That's 365 additional hours a year. Divide that by a 40-hour work week. That gives you 9.5 weeks of additional time to do something that's going to serve you, whether it's doing exercise, listening to paraliminals. Think about that. If you take 9.5 weeks off and went to an intensive seminar to change your life, that's what you're doing over time by spending 20 minutes a day. You can find the time. So who gets the $100? Here we go. Today's winner, drum roll,
Boink.
is Vicky Montour from Quebec, Canada. Congratulations, Vicky.
Yeah, Vicky Montour, please send an email to customerservice@learningstrategies.com and we'll get you set up. That's customerservice@learningstrategies.com. It's easy peasy. And again, all you want to do for tomorrow's drawing, put a comment on our Facebook page, Learning Strategies Facebook page, or in the online forum. Tell us what's been going on when you've been listening, what insights have you received, and then maybe we'll draw your name tomorrow morning. So Jack, we've been talking about the Living the Law of Attraction paraliminal that you created with Paul. What was it like to create a paraliminal and to record it? And then what happened the first time that you listened to it? What was the experience like?
Well, the first, let's see, how should I say this? Let me do the first time I listened to it first.
Yeah, yeah,
I think every time I've ever listened to myself or watched myself, my first reaction is like, how could it have been better? I'm like
yeah,
comparing
yeah,
my voice to Paul's voice and all the pacing, and he's really a genius at it. I was good, and it's really good. We got tremendous feedback from everyone who's ever listened to it. But honestly, truthfully, that was my first response. But listening to it again last night, I was just impressed with how much I was affected by it because I know all this stuff. I created it, I teach it, and at the same time, it left me in a higher vibrational state. Recording it was fun. Working with Paul is fulfilling as hell. He's so smart, so bright, so conscious, and just such a good coach as well, coaching me and helping do it with him. So that was a lot of fun. And when you're doing it, you're kind of doing it in little pieces. So you don't hear the whole thing until it's put together with music and everything. So that was like, oh, wow, that really came off great. It's like you write a book, all this paper on typing, and then all of a sudden you get it, it's in the mail. They published it. It's got a hardback cover on it. It's so much better. So there was that reality to it. So I was excited about that. And I'm excited about the feedback. Just today someone said it, and also we get it consistently. And for me, I, we had created a program called Effortless Success. The idea that, you don't have to struggle. Work is required, struggling is optional. And so I think for me, doing the paraliminal and knowing that this could be something that everyone could use, knowing that it's out there, because a lot of people misunderstand the law of attraction. They don't fully grok it. And I think this vibrational piece is a big piece of it. And we were able to address that in the paraliminal in a way that people really experience it, not just intellectually, but experience it vibrationally and subconsciously. So I think for me, that was exciting. And so again, if you want to feel more love, gratitude, appreciation, joy, enthusiasm, inner peace, etc., it will help you do that, as well as subconsciously. I want to say understand, even though it's not an intellectual understanding, it's kind of a knowing about the law of attraction. I think there's a difference between someone says, "Do you believe in God?" Say, "No, I don't believe in God. I know God." There's a difference between
yeah,
believing and knowing. And so I think the knowing occurs at that subconscious level. That's really powerful. And
yeah.
what I've found for me and all the people I work with is that these synchronicities start to emerge. Magical coincidences occur. I just give you one example. 2 days ago, one of my coaching clients who was wanting more money, she came up with an amount. She was visualizing and affirming the amount. And she was thinking she was going to get it through having more coaching clients. And she actually had an affirmation for that. And none of the money came from more clients. She didn't get more clients. But this money came out of nowhere. Money from the past, money that she was owed, or like 3 different checks that she was not expecting. The exact amount of money, none of which she remembered anyone owed her. And it was like, just like, so don't be attached to the how, because we get attached to the how and we get attached to like, it has to happen by this particular moment in time. And then what happens, we get impatient. And when you're impatient, you're focusing on not having it. And when you're focusing on not having it, you have more of that sense of disappointment. And then you get more not having it. You're attracting not having it. So for me, I love that program, and it was fun to make, and it was fun to listen to again.
Yeah, sweet, sweet. So, Jack, you have an amazing event that's coming up in April, and you have a special gift for everyone who upgrades today to receive the Ultimate You Library of Paraliminals. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So first of all, let me say to all of you who are here, I appreciate you for showing up, being with us today. And I believe that taking action is a key component to being successful. And taking action is also a key part of success system that I teach. And I have so much that I'd love to share with you that I obviously can't share with you in the brief time we have today. So as a special gift for those of you who did take action by showing up, I want to reward you for that by offering you an opportunity to join me next month on April 12th, 13th, and 14th. It's a 3-day Breakthrough to Success online virtual training. And for 3 full days, I'm going to be sharing the top principles of success used by the world's most successful people. I've interviewed over 100 of the world's most successful people, generals in the army, movie stars, Olympic athletes who won gold medals, professional athletes, top salespeople, best-selling authors, people that have lost 100 pounds of weight, multimillionaires, professional speakers, musicians, corporate leaders, you name it, I've talked to them. And I looked at it and I asked them, what were the principles you lived your life by? How did you get where you are? And sometimes I've mentioned ones that I lived my life, but I go, oh yeah, I did that. I definitely did that. I definitely did that. So we were able to isolate what are the top principles that are universal that successful people use, no matter what their walk of life, whether it's in their professional life, their personal life, as a friend, colleague, spouse, partner, parent, neighbor, whatever it might be. And in terms of your health, maybe you want to lose weight, maybe you want to earn more money, you want to heal a relationship, you want to get into a relationship, you want to get out of an abusive relationship, you want to have more fun. One of the things we're learning is most people in America are not having as much fun as they like. And I remember in one seminar we were leading, said, you need to have more fun. And the guy said, well, I don't know what I would do. So we actually assigned a fun coach to that person. And they played golf, they went bowling, they learned to tell jokes, they learned to dance, they went to an improv class, and they started having fun in their life. So there's a lot of things, vacations you want to take, hobbies you'd like to pursue, all those things. These principles will work to help you do that. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach them to you, not just like today where we're talking at you, but experientially, where you'll have experiences, perhaps talking to a partner in a breakout group, in a small group, working one-on-one with me. If you get stuck, we have exercises you do. Some of them are written down. They're meditations, guided visualizations. It's very engaging, very experiential. So it Velcros to your system. You walk out of there having integrated these principles and practices into your life. So they actually end up producing the results you want so you can be more successful, whatever area of your life you want to achieve that in, including health and fitness and so forth. Now, out of all the trainings I conduct, this is my favorite one to do. And it's because it's highly engaging, it's interactive. I love the guided visualizations and the meditations. They're not paraliminals, but they're similar to that, one voice, but they're very, very profound. And one of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to take you back and have you identify a limiting belief that you don't know you have right now, but you'll become conscious of it. You get to release it, decide a new belief, install that, come back out and look at how to apply that in your life. It's so transformational. It'll blow your mind. So I'm really excited about doing that. We also have some individual mini coaching and Q&A sessions that go on throughout the 3 days. So again, I just want to clarify, this is not like other trainings you might have participated before on Zoom. We work with what I believe is the best virtual event producer in the United States called Sage Productions. And we'll be in their broadcasting studio in Charleston, South Carolina. I will fly from California to South Carolina to do that. They have a video wall. There'll be like 10 or 20 of these huge, large screens where we'll have like 40 to 100 people on a screen. And I'll be able to see everyone in the training. The people that are from 40 different countries the last time we did it. And I'll be able to walk up to the screen and look at Pete there and say, Pete, unmute yourself. I want to ask you a question. Or you can raise your hand and I'll call on somebody. So it's very, very interactive. And the reason it's so powerful is Barry, who works there, is on the advisory board for Zoom, and he's constantly creating new breakthroughs with them. And they've created this way of, we can actually break you into small groups. Normally, if I'm doing Zoom with 500 people, I can't break you into groups because there's too many people. But Barry's figured out how to put about 40 computers in a row and have people punching them down and putting you in small. It's amazing what happens. So it's going to be very interactive. And I think you get a huge kick out of it. So I want you to take advantage of this opportunity. It's deep transformation. It's in the comfort of your home, no travel expenses, no airfare, no hotel, no meals to pay for. You can have your partner sitting next to you at no extra charge. They're just sitting there on the couch with you. When we go into a breakout room or do an exercise, only one of you will be able to participate with the other people, but doesn't matter. Miriam Laundrie, who's a graduate of Breakthrough to Success, she did it again online. We used to do this live. And what happens was her daughter was sitting off to the side on the couch. I didn't know this. The whole time, she told her mother at the end of the 3 days, that changed my life. And so, and it's interesting that what am I trying to say here? I'm talking so fast. I need to do the memory generator.
Yeah.
Paraliminal. Anyway, Miriam uh, said she came home from one of our seminars, and one of the exercises she did where we changed one word that changes you out of victim language to victory empowered language. She wrote a children's book for that. She published it. She won a Guinness World Record for having 183,000 people online at one time, all being read to that story by herself with their kids. I mean, an amazing story. Anyway, so that was her daughter that was sitting next to her. So here's the offer. You're getting a discounted ticket to our Breakthrough to Success just for showing up. Normally it's $297, but exclusively to MINDTRX members and Learning Strategy family, $49. So think of this. I'm paying for most of your tuition because I love Pete. I love you. I want you to attend. If you attend, I promise you, it will blow your mind. And this work combined with the Paraliminals is unbelievably powerful. So all you need to do to take advantage of that is to go to jackcanfield.com, my name, Jack, Canfield, Canfield.com/Pete. That's jackcanfield.com/Pete. Oh, I sound like one of those radio commercials. Again, that's jackcanfield.com/
You're good at it too.
and when you check out, all you have to do is enter the promo code Breakthrough. It says Breakthrough to Success. Just enter the promo code Breakthrough, and that'll reduce it down from $297 to $49. I promise you, it's an amazing offer, an amazing experience. You're going to be glad if you come.
And we'll do a follow-up email too. We'll send that out too so that you can get that. And then there's another part to your offer, Jack, and that is everybody who upgrades this week, if you get the Ultimate U library, whether on CDs or the MP3s or through MINDTRX, we will comp you into it. Jack will comp you into it. So you'll have complimentary access to that full weekend program. And for that, we will, after the challenge is over, we'll just automatically send you the ticket. So you don't have to do anything now. If you're upgrading, we'll take care of you. And then probably Monday or Tuesday, you'll hear from us, and then you'll have your access to Jack's program, Breakthrough to Success. Sound good? Jack, yeah. Jack, thank you so much for all of this. This has just been incredible. I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate all the wisdom and all your ideas and this complimentary access or the reduced access for everybody. I think that's so cool. So thank you, Jack. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And have a wonderful day listening to Paraliminals. Remember to leave a message for us in either the Learning Strategies Facebook page or in our online forum. In the reminder email, there's links to make it easy for you. We'd love to hear what insights you received and what's been going on with you from using the Paraliminals. So tomorrow, come back because Paul Schilly is going to be here. Paul's with us, who is the voice, as Jack's been talking about, of the Paraliminals, and he'll be helping you and answering a lot of your questions too. So thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Jack.
Bye, everybody.